It's working. It wasn't working. How are you? Hope you're well. Um, the There's a difference happening now. I can see, I can sense in people that there's a different. There's this weird uneasiness between should I lighten up or should I tense up with all that's going on in the world. You see people going to beaches and everything. They see a solution that hey, maybe we're past it, but some a great unsureness, if that's a word. Uh, and it's just the tension is added on, just keeps happening. It is a. Um, I was holding this up on one presentation. My help trapped on a pagan plan locked it on as a joke. I just saw it sitting there. It is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Cinco de Veinte. I think Veinte is 20. Pretty sure. Um, Hope you guys are doing okay. Um, Weather's okay. Going to get cold tonight. Bundle up. Don't turn the air conditioning on if you have air conditioning. The Hawaii, I see that they're having problems with the pandemic there affecting their industry. It's finally hitting harder. I guess it, you think about paradise and all, but paradise is usually a tourist spot, so it gets hit. Um, that's the price of living in paradise. My quote for today: life is what happens while you're busy doing other things. John Lennon. Always love that quote. Uh, Things that are good to do this time of year uh, is, or not this time of year, during this time. This is a great time to knock out those annoying tech support calls. They're slower than ever. Somehow a pandemic has slowed down remote communication. It's just an excuse. But knock out the tech support calls. I do tech support calls on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'd like to do them on Mondays because Monday already starts out with the presumption of suck. So I use that and knock out the tech support calls. Let's take a look at comments and seeing what we're supposed to do. See if anybody's saying anything interesting. Uh, are we supposed to clap? I don't know what that means. Uh, just People were communicating in like ancient hieroglyphics, but they're using emojis, and they don't understand what they're doing, um, or what they're saying, because emojis are interpreted. They mean different things. I'm learning about them. I've learned that you know the two oranges and the eggplant don't mean that you like produce. I learned that the old way a little bit. I felt like my grandmother there. The uh, Their dams are broken in Michigan and they're flooding. They must be feeling like end of days there. We've got murder hornets, which I think are really just wasp killers, just rebranded for this new 2020 episode of the giant anxiety building terror reality show that we call life. Uh, but That's just everything's got to scare you on the news, and I think it should make you aware and present you with stuff and let you determine what level of angst and stress it should give you in your life. You know, you look at statistics. There's great statistics on. There's fascinating ways to look at the world through different eyes. If you look at, you can believe in conspiracies, or you can misanalyze data and use data the wrong way, or you can just look at it and go, let me look further and try and find some illumination. Um, in China, between I think January and April, 20 million phone users stop using phones. Now, you could say 20 million people died, and they're lying about their numbers. Or you could say China is a country that uses dual SIM cards on many phones. People have two numbers, two carriers. Maybe because of economics, people to drop a carrier. That could be it too. Or somewhere in the middle, maybe 5 million people flat out died instead of, whatever they're saying. You got to factor it in. But there's fascinating statistics on what is being tweeted in the world. If you look at the primary terms that are being looked up at search, you can get an idea of what people think about in that part of the world. And part of it is, I'm going to do this as a separate episode. But it's what they have different maps of usage of the internet based on use. When I worked at ISP, we used this internet roadmap, which basically looked like this nebulous structure in ether, and it would show us what routes are being used. They have so much more of that. They have the underwater one, they have the space one, they have the terrestrial based one, and then they overlay things. And they have you can look at marketing terms. You can look at the most fascinating one, I think, is what states predominantly use what search terms when looking at pornography online. And you look up your state and see what it says. Pennsylvania uses a word I don't even know what it is. I haven't entered it into a search box. I won't do that until I can borrow somebody else's phone, because it's going to start a dumpster fire on my phone, I'm sure. I don't know what the word means. It's not a typo, because I see it in a couple places, but I don't understand what it means. As far as Pennsylvania goes, I think it means we like giant people. I'm not sure. I don't know how I got on this topic. I started my caffeine late today, so you have to forgive me. Been feeling under the weather. People need to remember that we are in allergy season. We are coming out of flu season, and we can still get colds. Everything isn't corona. Although I do flinch when somebody sneezes. I will admit that. When somebody sneezes or coughs, you saw me on the show the other day where I was making fun of it, I roll it across the room and everything. But that's only a slight exaggeration of what people do, The older you get when you're in a restaurant, you hear a sneeze, you look around to see how close that sneeze was to your food. If your food is not on your table, just happens with time. It's Wednesday. Things are starting to creep back to normal slowly. But people are thinking that June or whatever. Nah, I don't. They should just crack down, open those beaches up on July 4th and just open up solid and be sure of it, because they've got cases of one person going and infecting a whole church, infecting other people. It's still out there. And this thing can find an island, as it were, on animals. So even if it goes away, if we don't have a vaccination, it can come back off of an animal into a person. So you got to be real careful. If enough of us get an immunity, we can protect the others with what's called herd immunity. But we've got to get a vaccine. We've absolutely got to get a vaccine for this thing, because as bad as this is now, if this has hit us in the midst of the winter, it would probably be worse. And this thing is stronger in the cold. More people just having native flu symptoms, getting confused, hospitals getting overwhelmed, chaos ensues, dogs sleeping with cats, the apes riding the horse. All of a sudden, everything's out of control in the world. Everything's out of control in the world. And I'd like to wrap things up with. I do a missing persons thing on here sometimes. If people could look at those, that'd be great. You never know if you're going to see somebody. People have told me they looked, and I appreciate it. the search and rescue team, the police don't have to be the ones to crack the case. You guys can crack the case. All we want is the case to be closed and to be done with. Uh, and I'm supposed to pander more. I'm supposed to say like, share, and all that stuff. And I always forget to do it. It's not in my nature. And I can barely get the intro and the outro done. So I made an outro to help remind to do that. And I'm gonna get going. And you guys have a good day and stay safe, please. Here you go.